Hey guys, hope everybody's doing good. Wanted to shoot a short video about a knife I did some mods to for a friend of mine. Uh, Here several months back, I was in need of something bad for my shop, and he helped me out and helped me get what I needed for the shop. And he had mentioned having this knife, and I volunteered. If you follow my channel, YouTube channel, you know that I used to do knives, make knives, but haven't in years. But I volunteered to do the mods to this knife for him, and thanks for him helping me out. And wanted to share a short video about the knife is, the blade, and what I did to it. But to get my phone out where I've got my notes, so I won't forget anything on the specs. Here's the blade, and it is a USMC, and as I understand it, World War II USMC, and as I understand it, the USMC stands for United States Medical Corps, not Marine Corps. USMC Village Blacksmith Bolo. I'm not sure what the original weight on it was. You can probably look that up online. But the weight on it now after the mods is 2 pounds, 1.7 ounces. The blade length is 11 inches. And the height of it at the widest point is 2 5/8 inches. And I thought it was a 1/4 inch thick, but it's actually a little thicker than that. At the thickest point, it's 5/16 of an inch thick. It's a beast of a blade. And the overall length is 16.5 inches. These originally had wood scales, handle scales on them, put on with cutlery rivets. And I don't much care for cutlery rivets. I've seen too many of them come loose. And I discussed all the mods that he wanted and gave some input, and he was great to work with. He allowed me some artistic freedom on it, and what we came up together with on it was, and sorry if I'm shivering a little bit, it's 20 degrees out here this morning. We came up with, went with OD green canvas micarta for the scales, and Loveless bolts, we went with the brass bolt and stainless steel nut on the Loveless bolts on it. And here in just a minute I'll put in the video, if I can figure out how to do it. I think I can. A photo of the before and after. A couple of photos before and after shots. But let me give you some close-ups, and if you notice the wire edge, I don't know how this will show up in the video, but if you notice the wire edge on it in the video, if it shows up that's close, it's because it hadn't been sharpened yet, if you see the wire edge on it. But let's see if I can get up here a little bit closer and get you a good look at the blade. I love the way it turned out. I think it's going to be a really useful knife for him. He had originally mentioned wanting a Scandi grind back here on the first 4 inches, and I convinced him, as thick as the blade is, I convinced him to go with more of a saber grind, bringing it up a little bit higher to get the overall edge angle down. And then of course we did convex grind on the front portion of it. One of the things that he wanted on it that I had never heard of or seen before was a hidden lanyard hole. And hopefully I'm getting this okay in the view of the camera. There's the hidden lanyard. From the side view, you can't tell that it has a lanyard hole, but from the back you can see there's an opening in there, and you can run your cordage down in through there, hook it around the hole that's in the tang, and then back out. And maybe I'll get a shot of it here in a minute with some cordage in it. But he wasn't sure what to do about the transition, and we talked about that. And I know not everybody's a fan of the WSK or tracker style knives, but and I used to be a skeptic myself. Until I got a hold of one and used it. Actually, the first one I used was belonged to a friend of mine on the Bushcraft USA forum that he sent me, and it wasn't a Tom Brown or a Beck. It was another knife, I don't remember the kind, that he had modified and made into a tracker style or WSK style knife, and I fell in love with it. Awesome knife. So I ended up getting one, and a friend of mine on the forum, Bushcraft USA, is an awesome place. If you've never been on the forum, I encourage you to get on and check it out. A lot of great people on there. The kindness and generousness of the people on there, willingness to share information is just amazing. A lot of great people on there. But back to the transition area. When I got my tracker, and I'm not a fan of Tom Brown by any means, but I do like the WSK or tracker style knife. I find it very useful. It's not for everybody, but after getting a hold of one, modifying it the way I thought would make some improvements to it, I fell in love with it, and love my tracker style knife. But back to the transition. I convinced my friend to allow me to put a quarter round in this. And if you've never seen a tracker style knife used, that works amazingly well for making curls for tinder. So it doesn't look anywhere near traditional like it did originally, but I think the knife turned out pretty great. It's in pretty rough shape, a lot of rust on it and pitting, but did a lot of work to flatten it out, and I think it turned out pretty good. Another shot or two here of the blade. I guess maybe at the end of the video here I'll put the before and after photos. Hopefully my hands are not in the way. You've been able to see the knife. Turned over on the back where you can see it's thick and heavy. Should be great for chopping. But did the knife, the faces of the knife, took them up to 240 grit to leave a satin finish on it. It's going to be a rough use woods knife, so there wasn't much sense in trying to polish it to a high shine, and all, since it's going to be a user, not a mantelpiece, so it's going to get scratched up anyway. But and thankfully I was concerned about losing the logo, but thankfully I was able to save the majority of the Maker's Mark logo on it. So I'll put those photos at the end of the video here, and appreciate you watching. I'm not going to use the knife. I'm not going to cut anything with it because I just finished the mods and it's not my knife, but can't resist one little chop. That's a beast. Thanks for watching, everybody.